Welcome friends, Dizzy Juggler here. The most requested video lately has been for how can I show you how to do these sweet camera angles. How do I jump through them so quickly one by one like this? It's super simple. So here we go. All it is, if you go up to your camera toolbar thing here and you go under show. I mean, you all know about the external views, right? These are your normal quick view right, quick view left, that sort of thing. Under showcase, this is your drone camera. Under fixed camera, there's a bunch here too, and they're called external. In the control settings, they're called fixed camera, and each one of these has a preset locked in. So for the Boeing 737, this external 4 will always be the belly camera kind of thing, right? Etc., etc. So how do you get these without having to open this menu? Simple. All you need to do, go to your usual place for creating keybinds, search for fixed camera, and they're all listed here. You have to assign at least one of these fixed camera views to a keybind. And then what you do is two more keybinds, one for previous fixed camera and one for next fixed camera. And all I'm doing is calling up one of these that I've set in here. I've set two instead of just one. So I call up one, and then I start pressing either this or this to scroll through all the rest of them. That's all you have to do. So in addition to the fixed cameras that I showed you for the exterior, you can do custom views for the interior. For example, you could do this secret one that makes you actually look outside, even though you're technically inside. I'll show you how to do that. There's a little trick to making that happen. Also, you can do something like this. You could pick a window seat or whatever, stare at the ceiling, and you can make this a custom view. All you have to do is move your camera to where you want it, whatever view you want, and then I will show you what you need to do to make that savable. What else? The other thing you can do here is what I've done with setting up my cockpit camera, so I can look overhead or focus on the tablet, something like this. I can go to my McDo. I can go to these panels at the back of the pedestal here when I need to set stuff up there. I can go up to the overhead, and I can jump to the tablet. So we're back on the ground here. It's just a little bit easier to do this while we're on the ground. So the way you would do those custom views is go to your control settings. And I mean, of course, you can assign these to keyboard commands as well. I'm just showing you how to do it on the DualSense controller. So people who don't want to use their keyboard, it's an option for you. You can do all of this straight from your controller, so you don't have to use the keyboard, although sometimes it's a little bit easier, let's say, but you can certainly do this. There is nothing stopping you from just using your controller to do this. So all you're going to do is search for custom camera, I believe it is. And so here they are. So you have from 0 to 9, so that's 10 different custom cameras, and you have a load and a save for each one. So first you have to set up a key combination for save custom camera 0, let's say. And then you have to set up a keybind for load custom camera 0. So you can use up to 4 button presses for any keybind in the game, up to 4 on the controller. So that gives you lots of possible combinations. It doesn't have to be 4. I chose to use 4. You can use 2 or 3. It's just when you get into 3 or 4 button presses, you tend to not run into conflicts. With 2 button presses, there's lots of stuff pre-programmed that have 2 button presses, so you might start to run into conflicts, and then you have to mess around with deleting stuff and redoing it. So with 3 and 4 button presses, it's harder to come across conflicts. That's why I chose it. So I set save custom camera 0 as L1, R1, L2, and left D-pad. And then to call up that custom camera, I chose L1, R1, left D-pad. See the pattern? L1, R1. So if we go to L1, R1, left D-pad in the plane, L1, R1, left D-pad takes us to this, window view here. So to save that, we would, you move somewhere on the airplane, if I can move. Let's just say, just to show that it changes. If this is the view I wanted, I would do my save custom camera keybind, and you just do it once. So I would do my keybind, which is L1, R1, L2, and left D-pad. So I'm going to try to do that quickly, like that. And that should have locked it in. So now if I turn like this, and I do my load custom view, load custom view, and there we go. Saved it. Now I'm gonna put it back. Something like that. So it would work exactly the same to do that for, if you wanted to do like a make do view or your autopilot FCU, you just do the same thing. So you create a keybind to save it and a keybind to load it. And what I've done here is these are the ones, these ones here, these 4 here, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are my moving around the cockpit panels. So you just, again, set up what you want. So you can go down here and set up the save combination, key combination, and then the load. And then I recommend, after you've done that and you're happy with it, delete all of your save custom keybinds, because if you happen to press one of these keybinds when you're looking somewhere else, when you call it up, it won't be what you wanted it to be anymore. It'll be whatever. Part of the reason why I made these keybinds so complicated, because I had them much simpler originally, just like 2 or 3 key combinations, and I kept overwriting. I was doing the wrong one, and I kept overwriting so I made them super complicated, and then I've started deleting them as I'm happy with what I have. I delete the save so I don't do it by mistake. And just like we did on the external fixed cameras, for the custom camera internal to the airplane, you can also set up a load previous and load next here, and then it would just scroll through all the different custom camera angles that you have saved. In order for that to work, you'd have to call up one of your custom, that's it's a mouthful to say. You would call up, or let's say you would load one of your custom camera views, and then use the key combination you set here to load the next or the previous and scroll through them like that, just like we did with the external fixed camera view. Something I want to explain to you, because it gets kind of wonky, is when you go out to one of these views. So I've selected one of my fixed camera preset views. I believe this is number 10. And if you press the touchpad, you're now into the drone camera. And the problem is getting out of this drone camera is a bit kind of wonky. If you press touchpad again, you're now in your external camera. And then if you press touchpad again, normally would be your going back into the cockpit, switching to the cockpit view. It puts you inside the airplane, but it puts you in this weird corner here. So then you just have to do your reset camera view, which takes you back outside. And then you hit touchpad again, and now you're in the cockpit. It's very strange. I know, I don't understand why it does that. The other thing you can do to avoid all that extra nonsense is when you go outside and you go to one of these views, if you start, moving around, if you want to go back into the airplane, instead of pressing touchpad when you're in one of these views, go back to your preset and then hit your preset one more time. Now you're in external view, and if you press touchpad, you're back in the cockpit. So this other one here, this load custom camera 1, is our secret one that I showed you. earlier in the video. That's the, like, from the cockpit to look at the engine. So you can actually get the camera to slide outside of the airplane. Oops, wrong button. So the way you do that, go to your camera, sitting in the pilot seat, you bring up your cockpit camera, you go to co-pilot, and then you use your camera slide over combination, whatever, and you slide all the way over, and then you switch this to pilot. And now you're outside. And you can manipulate the camera. You're kind of restricted on how far you can go. You can only kind of move like along the, close to the airframe. So you don't have a lot of flexibility here. I think I had more movement than this before. But if you wanted, a view of this engine, because there isn't one for some strange reason, if you go to the fixed, these showcase ones, there should be, actually, well, I'll just do this. I'll use so that's the right engine. And that's the right engine again. There is no fixed camera angle for the left engine. So, which is why I created this one. But you could do it the other way too. If you go over here and you do this and you go to pilot. Oops, I did that wrong. Actually, if I do this, there you go. That's how you do it. Now I'm outside. So you're in pilot view. From the pilot side, you slide the camera over, and then you switch it to co-pilot, and now you're outside on the right side of the airplane. And you could make a view here if you wanted to for something. You could try to move the camera around a bit and get a different view, but that's how you can make an extra external view by being on the internal. As usual, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for spending time with me. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.